you want to understand Wicca as an individual. All right. So then you don't just wake up one day and say, oh, I'm Wiccan because I've decided so. All right. Most other Wiccans might find that offensive. And it's not even the fact of your path. It's like, do you even know what your path is? Hi, Phoenix family. The topic tonight is 1 year and 1 day, and why is it so important? Okay, this question was asked in my group today in Pagans of the Path, Rise of the Phoenix, and I thought it was a very good question. After answering the question, I noticed there was quite a few people who commented on it, and then realized that this is probably a topic that's not discussed enough. So this video is dedicated to that, to 1 year and a day and why it is so important. Okay, there are two aspects to 1 year and a day, and one aspect is for individuals and one aspect is for covens. So we're going to go ahead and cover both of those. Okay, the first one is going to be the solitaire, which whether you are Ostaratu, heathen, Celtic, Druid, Wiccan, eclectic, or just into witchcraft itself. Either which way, this is something that is a part of you, your own personal path as an individual. Okay, the idea of year and a day for an individual is like this. All right, so regardless of what you have learned throughout your entire life, this is something that has come your way that you are interested in. All right, and we're going to go ahead and use Wicca as the example because we're going to use the solitaire and covens, and that's a little bit easier to understand if I just stick to one side and explain both. Okay, so you want to understand Wicca as an individual. All right, so then you don't just wake up one day and say, oh, I'm Wiccan because I've decided so. All right, most other Wiccans might find that offensive. And it's not even the fact of your path. It's like, do you even know what your path is? That's what it's about. They're not offended about the path that you have chosen. It's, do you know what you have chosen? Okay? You have a strawberry cake and a chocolate cake and a carrot cake, and you choose the chocolate cake. Okay, that's great, but do you know that you chose chocolate? Are you aware that this is actually chocolate, or did you just pick it? It's one of those things. You kind of got to wonder, which one would taste better? Or maybe I'll learn a little bit about what's in the chocolate. I'll learn a little bit about what's in the carrot cake and so forth. Okay, that's the idea with the Wiccan. Okay, it's, you can be very interested in it and absolutely turn your attention to it. The idea is to pick a day, and we will say September 21st, 2018, because that is 1 year and 1 day ago from today. All right, so on that day, you decided, I'm really interested in Wicca. I would like to study it. So now you start making yourself like a schedule. A couple hours a day, maybe a couple of days a week, or maybe dedicate 1 or 2 specific days to that. And you start looking, go online, because right now online is a huge resource, and look for Wiccan or pagan activities in your area. Look for social media platforms that have groups or such with what you're interested in, and study. from September 21st, 2018 to September 22nd, 2019 is 1 year and 1 day. In that year, you've read a couple of books, you've studied the Sabbaths as they have come along throughout the will of the year, you have understood why they are celebrated, you take part in some of the rituals that you have learned in books, so that 1 year and a day you can say, you know what, this is definitely the path that I'm on, and then say, I am Wiccan. I have put a year and a day into this. Okay? The Celtics, Druids, Heathens, each of them have a different type of a study system that's in place. It is not like a 100% solid rule, but it's more like a system that was put into place to assist you. It's not a you must do this, but it's a really good idea and it will help you. That's the purpose of it, is to help you. Okay? So, all right. If you choose, after spending a year doing all of these things or picking up things on your own and you're like, this isn't the path for me, okay, so close the book and you're done. But after a year and a day and you've done all of this or all that you think that you can do in that year and a day, then you have something that you can even celebrate. You know, a year and a day ago, I made a commitment to myself. I made a commitment to learn about something, and now that year and a day is up, I'm ready to move forward as this is my path. I'm no longer questioning which way I'm going. This is my path, and I'm wanting to take in more information on it. It's more than okay to be a newbie. It's more than okay to take, a conversion. But the idea is to don't take a title. I would say this to anybody, whether it be pagan, Buddhist, atheist, Christian, it doesn't matter. Don't take a title without putting some time into study. You know, if the church says, oh, you want to come to this church, you just say this 5-minute prayer, you're saved, and then you come to church. My way of thinking, especially as a pagan, is, okay, that 5-minute prayer sounds great, but what am I doing here? What have I dedicated my life to? So the idea of year and a day is to take that question away. It's not just a simple prayer and it's done, or you have all these expectations. No, it's, okay, this is something you're interested in. Let's go for it. And then you take it one step at a time. And then at the end of 1 year and a day, then you make like a promise. You make a dedication. You dedicate yourself to this path because you have put in that time. You have put in that interest in study. Okay. Now, same concept, but a little bit more when a coven is based. Okay. So, an established coven, you have your high priest, priestess, you have presidents, vice presidents, you've got the prince, you've got the page, and you have various members. There's all kinds of positions inside of coven depending on how large it actually gets. The idealistically on TV is 13-member coven. It's Hollywood, because a coven can be as small as 3 and it can be as large as hundreds. Okay, so just put that out there for you so that you know it doesn't have to be just a number 13. Okay, so in the coven, you are interested in learning Wicca. So you go to the coven, you've met one of the members, and you express your interest in Wicca. Okay, so then the person that you spoke to, she returns to the coven, she or he, it doesn't matter, they return to the coven and they speak to the priest, and they say, I have so-and-so. They are interested in learning Wicca and starting their year and a day. So then a meeting is made, usually the person that invited you and the priestess at least. Sometimes there's more than that, but it all depends on the coven and their positions. So let's say a meeting takes place and there's about 4 people including you. All right. A couple of questions are asked, like, why are you interested? What brought you to this idea? And then they explain a little bit about what they are and give you an invitation date. Well, for the coven, that invitation date, let's say it was September 21st, 2018. It is actually recorded, whether it be paperwork that's filed or a system on a computer, however they do it, that date is recorded as a date that you're beginning your journey. All right, you start coming to the coven meetings. They could be once a week, they could be once a month. Again, it depends entirely on the coven, but they have rituals of their own. They have the meetings that they get together for. They have full moon practices. They have the waning and waxing moon practices. They have spell work that they do together. They have study work that they do together. They have teaching, the whole 9 yards. There's all kinds of stuff that's going on in a coven. And then as well, the Wheel of the Year is celebrated. It is celebrated, for lack of better words, religiously, okay, inside a coven. As the holiday or Sabbath is coming, you learn about it, why, how, when, where, all the questions that you could have. You're learning this weeks beforehand, and then you become a part of the celebration, right? This continues on for the entire year, all right? September 21st, 2018 was the day that you had your very first meeting with the priestess and everybody else. That was your dedication to, I want to learn. All right. So then the 21st of September of 2019, when your 1 year is up, it is acknowledged. It is acknowledged that 1 year. But then the next day, September 22nd, 2019, is 1 year and a day where they say you have completed an entire year. That's why it's the day after. Because this is the day you made the promise. Now you have an entire year from the day you made the promise to this day. There's not 1 day missing in there. That's the idea of 1 year and a day, is so that you have the entire year behind you. Okay. And for the covens, many of them have a celebration and congratulations. Some priests and priestesses of the covens even create like awards and certificates sometimes for like a diploma type, and that is given to the new member, and you earn your position in the coven. Okay, in that time you can decide for yourself whether to make this a one-time celebration with the coven of how far you have come and that you are now dedicated to being Wiccan, or you can make this a anniversary date, in September 22nd of every single year you celebrate that achievement in your life. The reason why it's called an achievement is because your chosen path, this is the path that changed your life. You are here now because you made this decision, and every year that's celebrated. In a lot of ways it's treated much like a marriage. Okay, this whole time here is kind of like the dating or engagement to be, but then this day on year and a day, it's the final dedication. It is the final what is the word I want? Commitment. There you go. It is the final commitment to saying, this is the path that I'm on, this is the marriage, this is where I'm going, and it's celebrated, they're on for the rest of your life. At any given time, whether you have finished your year in a day or you have not, you can always walk away. There is no punishments or somebody coming to chase you down to force conversion or anything like that. That's not what any section of paganism is about. It is always about you and your free will to walk in the door and walk out the door at your own will. The year and a day, okay, even though that represents your solid commitment, it is really put in place just for you, as an opportunity for you to say, I am interested in this, but I'm not sure if I want to make a total commitment. I want to learn, I want to understand, I like to take in as much information as possible, but I'm not certain if I want to make a commitment. In that year, when you get to celebrate every single holiday, you understand every ritual going through that whole year, and the different full moons and the different harvests and the equinox and everything that goes on an entire year. That gives you full circle understanding of whether or not do you stay or do you go. It's actually been a tremendous amount of help for a lot of people to have an entire 12 months and a day to go through the majority of it. This is why I said Wiccan we're going to stick with, because Wiccan has an entire year basically schedule for their routines, rituals, family get-togethers, coven get-togethers. They, when you come in on the 1 year and a day, the very next day, you're a part of it. You are a member. That is your deal. That is your club, and you have that information, and then you guys do this together again. Of course, things are going to change. That's life, but you know which path you're on. You know whether or not you liked it or not. And so that's what year and a day is. I do hope that I helped you out a lot with that. If you have any more questions that I did not touch upon, please ask in the comments. I will read every single comment, and I will always reply. So please like, share, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. The more further out we can get the information to others, the better it's going to be for all of us. I love you, brothers and sisters. Mwah. Good night.